Hello guys, welcome to my channel Learning with Samanvi. Today's topic that we're going to discuss upon is respiratory system. The mechanism by which the organism obtains oxygen from the environment and release carbon dioxide is termed as breathing. Respiration is a much complex process. It involves breathing, mechanism of exchange of gases and oxidation of digested food occurring in the cell in order to release energy in the form of ATP. Energy is needed by our body to perform various day-to-day activities and 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 metabolic activities. Have you ever thought where does this energy come from? Respiration is a biochemical process of release of energy in the body. Energy is released by the breakdown of digested foodstuffs during the process of respiration. It occurs in all living cells, and involves oxidation of the food. The energy rich in foodstuffs like glucose and fructose is changed into water and carbon dioxide during the respiration, accompanied with these release of usual energy in the form of ATP. Process of respiration. For respiration, there is a constant supply of oxygen which is provided by the process of breathing. It involves taking in of oxygen rich air during the inhalation and giving out carbon dioxide rich air during exhalation. This process is also known as external respiration. There are many differences between the cellular respiration and the external respiration. The cellular respiration, the oxidative breakdown of glucose is there. In extracellular in in breathing, it is the taking in of fresh air and giving out foul air. Cellular respiration is a biochemical process. Breathing is a physical process. It produces energy and stores it in the form of ATP. In cellular respiration, as well as in breathing, it consumes energy. Cellular respiration occurs in the presence of respiratory enzymes. In breathing, no enzymes are required for it to occur. Cellular respiration is an intracellular process and breathing is an extracellular process. Cellular respiration occurs at the same speed and breathing may increase or decrease depending upon the body functions. Types of respiration. There are there is there are two types of respiration: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration or cellular respiration, the oxygen which enters the lungs and then the cells of the body is used for oxidation or of glucose. In this process, the food is completely oxidized to form carbon dioxide and water. It is called aerobic respiration. As it occurs in the presence of oxygen, the process is completely completed partly in cytoplasm of and mainly in mitochondria. The anaerobic respiration, in certain microorganisms like fungi, yeast, and bacteria, glucose is partly oxidized into lactic acid or ethyl alcohol, and carbon dioxide in the absence of oxygen is called anaerobic respiration or fermentation. The energy released during the process is very less. The entire process is completed in the cytoplasm of the cell. The anaerobic respiration also takes place in our muscles during vigorous muscular activities. When oxygen gets used up fast than it is available to the muscle cells, this means our muscle cells can also respire anaerobically, but only for a short time. During heavy exercises, running fast, cycling, brisk walking, or heavy weight lifting, the demand of oxygen goes high, but the supply is limited. The anaerobic respiration takes place in the muscle to fulfill the demand of this oxygen. During this process, lactic acid is formed in the muscles. That's why we experience muscle cramps after vigorous exercises. When the muscles respire anaerobically, the the partial breakdown of glucose occurs, which produces lactic acid. The accumulation of lactic acid can cause muscle cramps. Normally, we get relief from such muscle cramps after a hot bath or gentle massage with lukewarm oil. So, when we take a bath with hot water or have a massage, the circulation of the blood gets increased. Due to this, the supply of oxygen into the muscle cells increases. This increase in the supply of oxygen results in the further breakdown of lactic acid into carbon dioxide and water. Respiratory system in human beings, gases are exchanged across the surface in the lungs, which lie inside the thoracic cavity. The upper respiratory tract is a tube from the nostrils and the mouth to the lungs. It consists of the following organs: nasal cavity. Air enters through the nose through nostrils. While passing through the nostrils, the air is filtered. The air present in the nose traps the bacteria and the dust particles from the incoming air. The nasal cavity lungs into brings the air to a body temperature before it enters through the lungs and moistens the air. Larynx and pharynx. Larynx at the upper region of trachea is the larynx, the voice box. The larynx is lined by the two pairs of vocal cords stretched across it. The vocal cords vibrate to produce sounds. This entire structure is visible externally as the Adam's apple. Pharynx. In pharynx, both food pipe and windpipe is in common passage for food and air. Trachea. Trachea or windpipe. The nasal passage leads to the back of the mouth, and this is where the trachea or the windpipe begins. It lies just in front of the food pipe esophagus. In the opening of the trachea is the glottis guarded by the epiglottis. During the swallowing of the food, the epiglottis closes and the glottis prevents the food from entering the windpipe. The lower portion of the trachea divides into two branches called bronchi, which enter the lungs in the thoracic cavity. Bronchi, bronchus and bronchioles. The trachea divides into two short arms called bronchus. Each bronchus enters the lungs. Inside the lungs, each bronchus divides into fine tube called bronchioles. Lungs. The lungs are moist, thick, bright pink, unevenly lobed structures. Three main lobes in the right and the two in the left of each lung. Each lung has a number of air sacs called alveoli. These are the functional unit of the lungs. The walls of air sacs are thin and elastic. The alveoli are covered with a network of capillaries for rich blood supply. Oxygen diffuses through capillaries from the air sacs and combines with the hemoglobin or of the RBCs present in the blood. At the same time, there is a diffusion of carbon dioxide which comes from the various tissues. The lungs take in the oxygen from the air we breathe and also excrete carbon dioxide through the air produced during respiration. These processes are called gaseous exchange. When we breathe, the air is drawn into our lungs through the air tubes called the air passages. Then the millions of tiny air sacs alveoli have the blood vessels which which give us the carbon dioxide and take in the oxygen and become rich in oxygen. We really thank you for your time. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel.